Right, thanks ever so much for joining today. We're joined with Sam, who's just disappeared off the camera, to demonstrate the Credit Hound Cloud products, new product from Draycir. It's a cut down version of the full Credit Hound product that's been available for many years. Offers a lot of functionality, which a number of businesses, I believe, will benefit from. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Richard Bates. I'm sales manager at EBS. Just to let you know, from a housekeeping point of view, we are recording today's session, and it will be available, and we'll send this out via a link after the webinar. So I'll pass over to yourself, Sam.
Perfect. Thank you, Richard, and welcome to the guys who have turned up. Really nice to have you here. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to give you a sort of brief intro into Draycir. I'm not sure if you know who we are, if you have any of our products at the minute, but I'll just do a quick 5-minute intro into who we are, introduce the product, and then we'll actually get into the demonstration part of it and have a look at how it works. So what I'd suggest as well is, if you do have any questions, just type them in the chat, and then Richard and Darren can pick them up at the end and start asking them. I know they've had some questions come in already, so they've got some questions at the end that they want to ask me from prospects for this software. So feel free to type in the comments box if you do have any questions at all. So I'm just going to share my content on the screen, and now hopefully you should be able to see Credit Hound Cloud webinar. Okay, so what we have is, like Richard said, we've got a streamlined version of our main product. So we have a main product we've had out for many years called Credit Hound, and it's an on-premise installed on your server and maintained on your client machines. Whereas we've gone into the cloud now to integrate with multiple ERP systems, including Sage 200, and it's all managed from a web browser. So firstly, a little bit about us, Draycir. So we've been in the channel for about 19 years now, and we've won various awards in the industry. You know, we've got customers all over the world. That number is significantly higher in countries now, and we're used by thousands of organizations. And as I mentioned on a webinar we did yesterday, this 87,000 user worldwide number is more like 120, 130,000 users at this minute in time. So, you know, we are trusted worldwide, so that is good for you. A little bit about our products as well. So just very briefly, we focus on document management is one of our key areas. So we have this document management suite, which involves Spindle document distribution, which is for sending out of documents of Sage 200, and document capture, which brings them back in. And together we're trying to help companies and organizations create a paperless office. We also take that a step further with our Spindle document recognition module. So this is for all your purchase invoices that get emailed in or scanned in. You know, we have this OCR software that will scrape the data, and it will, if you want, automatically post it and archive it against the purchase order if there is one. It also comes with a free approvals module. So if you have purchase invoices that need approval processes, they can go through that as well with our Spindle approvals module. Next, we've got self-serve. So this is an online portal for customers to view invoices and for salespeople to create orders for customers. It's kind of bridges the gap between accounts and the sales team. Next, we've got Excel Data Bridge. If you work a lot in Excel, and you can often be found trying to upload this data into Sage 200 only for it to error, and you're not sure why, and then you have to go back and look through your spreadsheet. We have a validation tool on our Excel Data Bridge, so it will tell you exactly why something didn't upload into Sage 200, and it will help you correct that mistake. And then finally, the reason we're here today, Credit Hound. So like I said earlier, we have Credit Hound Professional, which is your on-premise version, and it's an all singing, all dancing product with tons of, it's really feature rich. What we've done is we've created the cloud version now, which is a more streamlined version. It's not got quite as much functionality, but it does enough of a job for it to still be very relevant and to still help organizations like yourselves with their credit control process. So just a little thing on credit control. So what we tend to find before we use Credit Hound is that this is our standard credit control cycle. mainly using Sage 200. So very admin heavy, and you actually don't end up doing a lot of chasing. So you can see it's all about running the Sage debtors, doing all these notes, all of this business, and then, you know, very admin heavy. After Credit Hound, you know, we try and take the admin down so you can spend more time chasing the accounts that owe you money so you can get paid quicker. So why Credit Hound Cloud? We've got this. These are the basic functions that we find people want the most. So you've obviously got this seamless link to your account system, so no need to rekey accounting information, and it's a cloud-based solution. The link between Sage 200 and Credit Hound Cloud is mainly a one-way system. So data will be pulled into Credit Hound, but you won't be able to say change that data and it sync back into Sage 200. So you won't be able to create new accounts or anything like that. The only thing that will sync back into Sage 200 via Credit Hound Cloud is if you want to put an account on stop via Credit Hound Cloud. We have automated chasing as well. So this is where we try and make your life a lot easier in credit control. So we can create these rules or collection paths, as you'll see shortly, and we basically build a collection path and we put a customer on that path, which will automate chasing and sending of emails to that customer. We have chase screens, so we have this within the account screen, so we can chase a customer. We also have the real-time account information feeding through as well. Dashboards and reporting, everyone loves a pretty dashboard and seeing their data in a nice, pretty way. So the first thing you'll see when I log in is that I'm presented with a dashboard of how my company is getting on, which is nice if you're a credit control manager, say, so you can have a pretty decent overview of how the company is performing in credit control. And then dispute tracking, so a very light version of our professional. In professional, there is a full dispute tracking section. Within the Credit Hound Cloud, we can enable disputes against an invoice, so they won't be chased as part of the automated collection process. So Credit Hound Cloud in action. So you can see I've got Sage 200 installed here. I've also got Credit Hound Cloud on premise installed, so that's where this would live on your PC. But for Credit Hound Cloud, I'm just going to open up Google Chrome. It will work with any web browser, so you can use it on a tablet if you wanted to, if you want to do your credit control on the go, if you were that way inclined. But I'm just going to log in here. It's remembered my password from the last time, and I'm presented with this pretty dashboard that I've just spoken about. So you can see here I've got the key indicators of how well my company is doing. So I've got my total debt in the top left here. I can see how much is not due yet. So that's invoices that are about to become outstanding. I've got my overdue amount, any amount that's in dispute, and any non-allocated amounts from Sage 200. I've also got my mini age debt. So you can see here, yeah, my data is very bad. I've got 1.7 million in 120 days, which isn't ideal for a company. I can see who's paid me as well. So this feeds directly from Sage 200. So because I'm using a dummy website, a dummy Sage 200 data, no one's actually paying any bills to me. But for yourselves, when you were to log in, if you have had your bills paid, they will show here who's paid them and how much for. So you can have you can see who your good payers are. We can also see who our bad payers are with who has my money. So we can see that Pets, Woods, Pantries owe me the most amount of money. And you've got all these different not due, disputed and not allocated. So you've got a very quick look at where your money is. Talking of where your money is, you've just got a nicer way of displaying that as well. If I had bigger totals here, this chart wouldn't be completely red. It's overwhelmingly red at this moment in time. So that means something is not going well for my credit controllers. We also have this little tab here, this customer email issues. Now, what you'll find is that we send emails out to our customers by the automated chasing routines. And if there is any problems with the customer's emails that we've synced from Sage 200, it will display them here. And then what we can do is we can use the export routine to export those to Excel, give them a change, and then we can pop them back into Sage 200 and resync them across to Credit Hound Cloud, so then they can be chased properly. So that's a little bit about the dashboards. You know, what we can do as well with any of these is the minute you get this little, it goes from the pointer to the hand, and the finger, you can drill into it. So what I may want to do is, have a look at my 120 days. So this takes me to my age debt column. And now I've got my age debt, and I can see my 120, it's already filtered by my 120 days. So I can see who's in my 120 days. I can filter any of these columns while I'm in here. I can select various ones to filter by if I wanted to. I can also get to the customer account just by clicking on their name here as well. So what you'll find within Credit Hound and Credit Hound Cloud is that most of the screens are drillable, most of the data is drillable. So you're only ever a click away from the screen you need to be in effectively. So I can see how many days over these guys are. These are horrifically over, and what their balance is. I could also change the currency if I wanted to, and I could create my own filters in here. So I've got all these different types of filter, and I can type in there whatever I wanted to, and it will just show me that data. So if I go to my customers, now you'll notice the customer list is quite similar to my age debt. So I've still got all this information, overdue, balance, credit limit, etc., which is very similar to the age debt. But now I've got this additional information on what collection path they're on. So how am I chasing them? Do I want them to be automatically chased by the collection path, which we're going to touch on in a moment? Or do I want to chase them manually? So these guys never get an automated email from ourselves. We are always going to pick up the phone, or we're going to write our own letters, whatever it may be, to chase them. I can also select various accounts and come into here and change a mass change a collection path if I had multiple collection paths. And we will touch on why you might want multiple collection paths in a moment. Again, I've got the option to filter, so I can search for any account I want in this way, and just do the exact same as you would do on the age debt. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill into a customer to show you what that screen looks like. So you can see here, I'm in Abbey Retail, my favorite account, and I've got a very quick view of how they're doing. So what their balance is, how many invoices are overdue, credit limit, what's overdue, and do they have any invoices in dispute. I've also got their age debt as well, which is a nice little view, and you can't, without running 1,000,001 age debts in Sage 200, that would be quite difficult to actually generate those reports for every single one of your customers. You'd probably be there all day printing out. So we've got a really nice view of it in here. Below that, I've got all the outstanding invoices and any credit notes, anything associated with their account I might need to see. So you can see here, it's got the invoice, the reference, what the amount's for, and what's outstanding, and if there's any next actions. So we'll come back to that in just a moment. I've also got the contact information. So this is coming from Sage 200. But within Credit Hound, what I can do differently to Sage 200 is I can change the default contact. So unless you specifically state it somewhere, when we do the automated chasing, Credit Hound Cloud will always select the default contact to send the email to, the chasing email. So if there is a better person to send it to than Hayley Bass, say, we could come in here and set them as the default contact. That's who my email will now go to. Below all this, I've got any customer notes. So I can create notes at a customer level. So you might write notes on things saying, Hayley doesn't pick up on a Wednesday or doesn't work on a Wednesday, so call Ian if you're chasing them on a Wednesday. So it's nice to have those notes there, and they're not kept on a spreadsheet, or you're not having to go in various systems to find out little bits about the company that you wouldn't necessarily know without that data in front of you. So we can do that as well. On the right hand side, which is quite nice, we have an activity tracker. So we can see exactly what I've been doing, or what my credit controllers have been doing on the account. It's not to check up on anyone per se, it's more to just have an audit log of what's been going on, so you can see what's happened, and it gives you an informed view of this customer account, so you know maybe how to chase them and in what way. So you can see I was playing around with it last week, and I disabled the automatic chasing. I put a transaction marked as dispute. I then resolve that disputed transaction. So you've got this nice little look at the world on what's been going on with this account. So if I come over to here and select this invoice, I've now got an audit log specifically for that invoice. So you can always keep a track on what's going on with just this one invoice. We can add a note to it, which will show in here. So we can add a note at the transaction line as well as the customer level. We can send an email, just a single email based on that invoice. So if I click there, it's going to open up an email template. We can use a template in here, add custom fields as well from Sage 200, so you don't have to type the whole thing. And we can send an email just to chase that one individual invoice. We can also pop it into dispute. So if I pop that into dispute, it'll whirl around, and now I've got this view where now I've added £352 into my dispute total. It's also flagged up that the invoice is in dispute with this little triangle, and it's also changed the colour, if I take that off, of the amount of money. So you can see straight away you've got two on the line level ways of knowing that invoice is in dispute. So when an invoice is in dispute, it won't be automatically chased as part of the collection path routine. It will exclude the disputed invoices. So, you know, the worst thing that could happen is someone disputes an invoice and then literally the next day it ticks into the criteria of the collection path, and that customer then gets sent a strongly worded email saying where's our money, and they say, well, it's actually in dispute, what are you doing? And then you're in a right bath with that. So we do exclude that from the chasing process. So if I look into here as well and take this off, you can see that I've just marked this into dispute 1 minute ago. So it's literally tracking everything I do with this account. So that's the account screen. Nice, easy, basic look at it. Very, very quick to see how an account is performing, and whether you need to do anything with them, or how do I get more money out of these. You know, you may want to look at the data here and decide on a new strategy to collect your money off them. So how do we do that? We use this concept of collection paths. So at the minute, I've just got the one collection path. So you always have a default collection path set up that every customer goes in initially. But you can have loads and loads of collection paths. You can have as many as you like effectively. So if I just go into one, you can see it's just got a basic name, a basic description. I've scheduled it for 10 a.m. every morning, and it's basically tracking anything that's £1 that's worth more than £1. And you can set those amounts if you want to, if they make more sense to add actual totals in there. But this is what I've done as a default. So what does the path look like? So it's this right hand side here. So I've set a rule that says 7 days before the invoice is due, send a preemptive email reminder, just letting them know that they need to pay the invoice shortly. Then 1 day over, we send a friendly overdue. 7 days is mild, 14 days is moderate, 21 is strong, and 50 days is very strong. So what we get here is we get a template. So we create our custom templates in the background. So this preemptive reminder is nice. It's using custom fields from Sage 200, so you don't have to worry about it getting the right contact or customer name. It's picking these straight up from Sage 200. So that would be Hayley Bass because she's the default. It refer to the outstanding transactions, the due date, the amount, and it's just a nice little reminder that they need to pay this invoice before it is due. I can change the template at any point as well, and it will just update that. So you can create as many templates as you want and have them customized to your heart's content effectively. So what we can also do is we can remove any of these on the path. We can also edit them. So you can see here, I've got my rule here, before due date, 7 days, sent the preemptive reminder. You know, I can change any of that. You don't have to go with how it's set out here. This is just our default that we think makes sense to start your credit control automation process. So what you can also do, you can add extra bits onto it. So you could add as many levels as you wanted on this. So you could send one 7 days before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days overdue, and just keep building up your collection path from there. What you can also do is add further collection paths. So have a think about it. I don't need to know right this second, but have a think about your collection process at this moment in time, your credit control process. Do you chase every single customer in the same way? What we tend to find is most people don't. So with your bigger customers, so if you're, say, got Amazon as a customer, you might not send them the aggressive pay me now emails. You may go a bit more softly with those guys because their money is probably worth more to you than, say, a smaller company as well. So we can create collection paths based on, say, customer tier. So you might have bronze, silver and gold customers, say, and you chase gold completely differently to bronze, and you know different wording, you send different emails at different time. So all you'd have to do is create a collection path and add that customer to that collection path to create a new way of chasing them. You may also chase, whether someone's a good payer or a bad payer. So you may not go for the niceties if you put all your bad payers on a certain collection path. You might just start straight in with a strong email, just saying, right, come on, you need to pay. We're not messing around now. So there's always that option as well. So what I'm getting at is we can chase whoever you want in whatever way that is relevant and specific to them. So you've really got some nice flexibility and customization with this collection path. So a few of the features of Credit Hound Cloud is we have, when we send emails out, they all pop in here. I don't have any at the minute, but if I'd sent out a load of emails that met the criteria, they would show in here. If people emailed back to those, they'd show up in here. Now you can have a setting. So currently it's using a Credit Hound email address. So what you can always do is tick a box to say, I want the email to actually come from my accounts at inbox. So when someone replies, I will just get that reply. So you can do that as well, or you can have them come straight into Credit Hound and action them from there. Completely up to you, but we put the flexibility in for both ways. We have these announcements tabs, so we can see all the latest things that are going on with Credit Hound Cloud. So something I should stress on this quite heavily is Credit Hound Cloud is probably our most heavily in development product we have at this moment in time. So we are constantly developing this to make it as feature rich as humanly possible. This is what we're going to be concentrating a lot of time on. So anyone who buys now will be getting it at an extremely cheap rate as well. And although it's not got all the features of the professional version, within the next 12 to 18 months, we are hoping that it will catch up at that point, and then you'll have an unbelievably feature-rich product for a very nice price point. So we are doing a lot with this. We have got a data scientist working on AI for Credit Hound, so completely automating that process of working out how people pay you and when they pay you, and automating that process to actually say, we need to chase this person on this day because this is the day they're most likely to pay. Things like that. So, if you purchase this product, rest assured that we are constantly looking at ways to improve it all the time. So they'll show up there anytime a new feature is dropped or some new functionality. You'll get a little one over this speaker megaphone, and you can just come in, have a look at it, and usually there'll be a guide or a walkthrough on how to use that. We've also got help as you'd expect in anything. So this takes you to a documentation section and will show you exactly what you need to do. Really intuitive and user friendly. But if you ever get lost and you say you buy this product and you think to yourself, oh, what did Sam say in that demonstration? He could do this, this and this. I've completely forgotten. We actually have this as standard. So we've got to take a tour of Credit Hound, and it will take you through a demo like I've just done with you. And we can click through and it will explain everything that I've just explained to you. And you can cancel it at any time, but it just gives you a bit of help in the background with that. So a couple more things, not on that. Credit Hound, a couple of useful links for you that we can share with you after the demo. is the Credit Hound Cloud website, so you can go on, have a look at what's on there. There's plenty of information on the software that I'm sure I haven't shared with you yet, but most of it is on there. You've also got a registration for Credit Hound Cloud. Now, this is great and fantastic for you. So we offer a 30-day free trial of Credit Hound Cloud that links directly to your Sage 200 data set. Super easy to install. There's no credit card or debit card required for it. So after the 30 days, if you don't want it, you won't be charged. It will just turn off. If you do want it, all you've got to do is set up that direct debit and pay for support with EBS, and you will be flying with it. You just continue using it. There's no need for any additional work on it. We've also got on the website a calculator as well. Now, this is really good because you can straight away work out what your saving and return on investment would be with the credit control software. So effectively, it's got lots of sliding bars. It's asking you what your age debt is at the minute, questions like that. And then it works out if you use Credit Hound Cloud, and you automate that process to a decent degree, how much money are you going to drag back into the company within your first year of using the software? So you can get an idea on return on investment. So that was Credit Hound Cloud. If you've got any questions, now would be the time. But anything else, I'm always here, and so are the chaps, Darren and Richard at EBS, if you do have any questions after that. So thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Sam. I've just got a couple of questions that appear to have come in. So I think one of them you've answered, which is how easy is it to install. The other question that came in off the back of that was kind of what do I need? So you know, usernames and passwords and things. How complicated is it?
Yeah, so with installing it, basically all you would do is when you sign up for the free trial, or if you were to buy it, say, you'd be given a installer, just a basic connector that is it's like an install wizard. So it's basically just next, and point it at the right data set, and then you're up and running. It's basically that easy. Even I could do it, which is saying something. And with usernames and passwords, yeah, you just create your users. You maintain all your users within Credit Hound. So you've got this list here. So it's just a name and your role and your password. All you'd have to do is add a user, give them a name, email. Do they want to be an administrator, or do they just want to be a standard user? Add them in to the software and they're up and running.
Brilliant. And how does it actually link from the cloud to Sage, which is which for most people is located in their office?
Yeah, so the connector that you install effectively is the link between Sage 200 and Credit Hound Cloud, and it drags the data and basically mirrors it onto the cloud software.
Brilliant. And does it work with both the on-premise and, because obviously we've got Sage 200 standard coming out as well?
Yeah, so it currently is working with Sage 200 on premise, but we are in the process of working on the Sage 200 standard connector. So that should hopefully be out within the next 6 to 9 months. So that is something we are definitely looking at.
Brilliant stuff. A couple more questions. So one that came in was, can I send statements or copies of invoices with Chase emails?
Yeah, it's a really good question. At this moment in time within the Credit Hound Cloud software, you can't. It's a feature that is in the on-premise version, so the professional Credit Hound version, and that is a huge bit of functionality within the professional version, and something we are trying to get the Credit Hound Cloud version to be able to do. It's just a bit more work than it is for the on-premise version. So if that was a feature you definitely needed, then I'd say let's have a look at the on-premise version together.
Brilliant. I guess final question, which I don't think you've mentioned, how much is it?
How much is it? Very good question. That's what it all comes down to, doesn't it, at the end of the day? So you start with a base pack of one user and one company, and it is £65 per month.
Brilliant stuff. I can't see any more questions that have come in, so obviously if there are any additional questions, feel free to contact either myself or Darren at EBS. Yeah, I just take this opportunity, obviously, just to thank you, Sam, for doing the demo, and hopefully we can run some more of these sessions soon.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you,
Great
everyone.
stuff. Thanks, Sam.
No worries. Have a good day, everyone.